Bessie Coleman never arrested a criminal. She commanded no troops. She held no political office. Yet history owes her everything. When she passed away at 34, over 10,000 people came to mourn her. Ida B. Wells delivered her eulogy. Let that sink in. For decades after, pilots flew over her grave every single year. They dropped flowers from the sky, a tribute reserved for legends. You have probably never heard of her, but you know Amelia Earhart. Here is the thing. Bessie earned her license 2 years before Earhart. She was the first African-American woman to fly, the first Native American woman to fly, and she was erased from history until now. January 26, 1892, Atlanta, Texas. Bessie Coleman was born into a world that never wanted her to succeed at all. She was the 10th of 13 children. Her parents were sharecroppers, former slaves working land they would never own in their lives. Her mother, Susan, worked as a domestic maid for white families. Her father, George, had African-American and Native American ancestry. In 1901, when Bessie was 9 years old, her father left the family. He returned to Oklahoma, seeking better opportunities. Bessie stayed behind with her mother and siblings. Every single day, she walked 4 miles to reach a one-room segregated school. That school often had no paper to write on, no pencils, no books, but Bessie showed up anyway, every single day without fail. Her mother made sure a traveling library visited the Coleman home several times a year. Bessie devoured every book she could find. When she was not studying, she was picking cotton alongside her siblings. She did the laundry her mother brought home from work. She graduated 8th grade, an achievement for any child in rural Texas, let alone a black girl living in Jim Crow America at that time. At 18, Bessie saved enough money to attend Langston University in Oklahoma. She lasted 1 semester before her money ran out, but she refused to return to the cotton fields of Texas. In 1915, at 23, she made a decision that changed her life. She followed her older brothers north to Chicago, part of the Great Migration that saw 6 million Black Americans flee the South. Chicago, the city of broad shoulders, the city of opportunity. At least, that is what they said. Bessie was about to find out herself. Chicago was not paradise, but it was better than Texas. Bessie found work as a manicurist at the White Sox barbershop in the city. She was good at her job, so good that she won a contest naming her the best manicurist in Black Chicago. People noticed her talent. Being a manicurist was not just a job for her. It was a front row seat to every conversation in town. She listened and she learned. World War I had just ended. Veterans came home with wild stories of flying machines, dogfights in the sky, heroes soaring above trenches. Bessie listened carefully to every story. And something stirred deep inside her. She had found her calling. She wanted to fly airplanes. But it was her brother John who pushed her over the edge. John had served in France during the war and came back with stories. He told her about French women who flew airplanes, real pilots, real women, flying in the sky, doing what Americans said was impossible. And then John said something that would echo through history forever. He taunted his sister with words she would never forget at all. He said to her face, "You know what French women can do that you will never do. Fly." He laughed. Most people would have gotten angry. Most people would have walked away from such an insult. But Bessie Coleman smiled. She looked her brother dead in the eye and spoke. She said calmly, "That is it. You just called it for me." From that moment on, Bessie Coleman had one mission: learn to fly airplanes. Prove her brother wrong. Prove everybody wrong. She took a second job managing a chili parlor. Every penny went into her savings. Flight school was not cheap, but Bessie was determined. Then she started applying to every flight school she could find nearby. Every flight school in Chicago. Every school in the region. The answer was always exactly the same. No, we cannot accept you here. Not because she could not afford it, not because she lacked talent or intelligence. The reason was simpler and far more devastating. Because she was black, because she was a woman. In 1920 America, that was enough to slam every single door shut on her. This was Jim Crow America. Black people could not vote. They could not ride in the same train cars as white people back then. They could not use the same water fountains, the same restrooms, the same schools, and they certainly could not learn how to fly. White pilots refused to teach her anything. White schools refused to admit her. This happened right here in America, not somewhere else. But Bessie Coleman was not the kind of person who accepted no for an answer. She started asking around, who could possibly help her? That is when she met Robert Abbott. Abbott was the founder of the Chicago Defender, the most influential black newspaper in America. Abbott was one of the first African-American millionaires. He had connections everywhere, and he saw something special inside Bessie. Abbott told her directly, if America will not teach you how to fly, then go somewhere that will. Go to France. They will accept you. France, the country that had treated black soldiers with dignity during the war, the country where her brother said women could fly. There was just one problem standing in her way. Bessie did not speak French. The best flight schools in France taught only in French. So what did Bessie Coleman do about it? She enrolled in French classes at the Berlitz Language School in Chicago. Another solution, Abbott publicized her quest in the Chicago Defender. Banker Jesse Binga provided additional funding. The community rallied behind her. On November 20th, 1920, Bessie Coleman boarded a ship from New York City to Paris, France. She was 28 years old. Paris, France. A world away from the cotton fields of Texas. A world away from Jim Crow America. Here, she could breathe freely at last. Bessie was accepted into the Caudron Brothers School of Aviation at Le Crétoy, one of the most respected flight schools in all Europe. Here is what France taught her that America refused to teach. In the air, there is no color line. Everyone is equal in the sky. As Bessie later said in her own words, the air is the only place free from prejudice. Up there, no one cares about the color of your skin. The French instructors did not care about her race or gender at all. They only cared about one thing. Did she have courage to fly? Did she have the willingness to learn how to master the sky? The answer was yes. Absolutely yes. Bessie proved it every single day. Bessie trained on the Nieuport 82, a World War I fighter plane. These were not safe machines by any measure of the word. During her training, she witnessed a fellow student perish in a crash. The dangers were very real. The risks were absolutely enormous. Many students would have quit after seeing that. Bessie did not quit. She kept going forward. She had come too far to turn back now. She learned tailspins, banking, looping the loop, maneuvers that would make most people sick to their stomach. She mastered them all. 7 months. That is all it took her. 7 months for Bessie Coleman to master what America had told her she could never learn. On June 15, 1921, she took her qualifying test with the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale. The world watched. She passed the test. Bessie Coleman became the first African-American woman to earn a pilot license, the first Native American woman too, and here is a fact that often gets overlooked. She was the first American of any race or gender to receive an international license. Let that sink in for a moment. The first American. Not the first black American. The first American of any kind. She was 1st. This happened exactly 2 weeks after the Tulsa tragedy, one of the worst acts of racial violence in all of American history. While mobs destroyed Black Wall Street in Oklahoma, a black woman from Texas was making history in the skies of France far away. 10 months after arriving in Paris, Bessie sailed home to America with pilot license in hand. The press was waiting for her arrival. When her ship docked in New York City, black and white reporters swarmed around her. Everyone wanted to interview the Flying Wonder. The Air Service News called her a full-fledged aviatrix. She was invited to the all-black musical Shuffle Along as guest of honor. The entire audience rose to give her a standing ovation, including the white patrons sitting in the orchestra seats. She had arrived, but Bessie was not satisfied with just the license. She returned to Europe to train with veteran World War I pilots in France and Germany. When she came back to America, she was ready to fly, ready to inspire, ready to change the game forever. Her moment had come September 3rd, 1922. Curtis Field, Long Island. Bessie Coleman made her first public flight by a black woman in America. She went to Barnstorming, performing dangerous stunts at air shows across the country. People came from everywhere to watch. Loop-the-loops, figure eights, near-ground dives that made crowds scream in excitement. She was absolutely fearless in the sky above. They called her Queen Bess. They called her Brave Bessie. Air shows attracted 20,000 people, sometimes even 30,000 came. But here is what made Bessie different from every other pilot of her era. She had principles that she absolutely would not break. She refused to perform at any venue that separated black and white audiences. If they could not enter through the same gate, she left. In Texas, organizers tried to make black attendees use a separate entrance to the show. Bessie negotiated until everyone used one gate. Hollywood offered her a movie role and started working out her hair and rags. She walked out immediately. No Uncle Tom stuff. Through it all, she never lost sight of her ultimate dream. Opening a flight school for African Americans, that was her true mission. She told audiences everywhere she went, "I knew we had no aviators, neither men nor women. I knew the race needed to be represented." She saved money from every show and every lecture she gave. Getting closer to her dream of opening that school, she was almost there. April 30th, 1926. Jacksonville, Florida. Bessie was preparing for an air show scheduled for the very next day. She had just bought a new plane, a Curtiss JN-4 Jenny. Her mechanic William Wills had flown it all the way in from Texas for her. That afternoon, they went up together for a practice flight. Bessie needed to scout the landing site for a parachute jump tomorrow. Wills was at the controls of the aircraft. Bessie sat in the back. She looked over the side of the plane to survey the ground below. She did not buckle her seatbelt. It would have prevented her from leaning out far enough to see the landing site she needed to find. At 3,500 feet in the air, something went terribly wrong. The plane suddenly accelerated and then dove straight down. The aircraft went into a tailspin. Then it flipped completely over in the sky. Bessie Coleman was thrown from the plane and fell. She fell to the earth below. She was 34 years old. William Wills crashed with the plane and also lost his life that day. Investigation later found the cause of the accident. A loose wrench had slid into the control gears during flight and jammed them. Wills could not right the plane no matter what he tried. Bessie Coleman never got to open her flight school. Her dream ended there. But her story did not end that day in Florida. When news of her passing spread, the African American community went into deep mourning. Her body lay in state in Florida first. Then it was transported to Chicago. Over 10,000 people came to pay their final respects. Ida B. Wells delivered her eulogy at the funeral. The legendary journalist and anti-lynching activist honored Bessie with her words. Starting in 1931, black pilots from Chicago began an annual tradition, flying over her grave and dropping flowers down. In 1929, her friend William Powell founded the Bessie Coleman Aero Club in Los Angeles. Her dream lived on through him. That club trained black pilots for years. It sponsored the first all-black air show in history. It kept her dream alive and growing. The Bessie Coleman Aero Club inspired the Tuskegee Airmen, the legendary black fighter pilots who served with honor in World War II. In 1992, astronaut Mae Jemison became the first African-American woman in space. She carried something special with her. Mae Jemison brought a photograph of Bessie Coleman aboard the Space Shuttle Endeavour, from the cotton fields of Texas to outer space. In 1995, the United States Postal Service issued a stamp honoring Bessie Coleman. Official recognition at last came. And in 2023, almost a century after her passing, Bessie Coleman's face appeared on the American corner. Finally seen, Bessie Coleman once said these words, "You have never lived till you have flown." But her real legacy is not about flying airplanes. It is about refusing to accept the limits others place on you. It is about turning a taunt from your brother into a lifelong mission. When every door in America slammed shut in her face, she found another door, in another country, on another continent far away. She said these words, "I refused to take no for an answer." And she meant every word of it. Every single day of her life, she proved it. So the question is not whether you have heard of Bessie Coleman before today. The question is, what door are you refusing to let close? What impossible dream are you chasing right now? What taunt are you turning into your mission? Bessie showed us the way forward. If Bessie Coleman's story moved you today, hit subscribe. We tell stories of forgotten Americans who deserve to be remembered always. Drop a comment below and tell us, what is one thing you learned today that surprised you? We want to hear your thoughts on this story. If you want more stories like this one, check out our video on Bass Reeves, another American hero you have never heard of before now.